Welcome to Waywut, your weekly verbal double take. This is a rabbit hole podcast where a couple of old guys do moderate to shallow dives into various topics, ranging from true crime, paranormal, sports, pop culture, or anything else that we find interesting. We drop episodes every Tuesday and on Fridays if we feel like it. You can follow us on Facebook, X, and TikTok. We appreciate you joining us. And now that we got all this self-promotion stuff out of the way, here we go.
Hello there, and welcome to Waywut, your weekly verbal double take. Today, I will guide, usher, escort, steer, pilot, and lead the way to another topic that made me say, "Wait, what?" Joining me and abruptly taking away my thesaurus is Darrell.
Yeah, but that's only because I can't stand your voice.
Well, we're like 80 episodes into this now, and this is my voice. It ain't going to change.
I was going to say 80 episodes into this, but like 40 years of friendship, you know,
very true.
I've learned to tolerate it. I didn't really have a response to that because it's like, it was annoying.
When I watch that or I listen to our podcasts, I get annoyed with my laugh. I feel like I laugh way too much.
Anybody listening, I'm sorry. I've done everything I can to make sure that you don't hear me breathe without not breathing. And I can't. I mean, I've tweaked my mic adjustments. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if that was obvious, but yeah, we both have things. Because I for the longest, I would not listen, period. Just because
critical.
I could, very critical. I'm super critical over it. I don't listen to it and think, oh, you know, just right now I heard myself stammer, and I'm like, God damn it, there I am stammering again. And so most of the time I'm very critical of it, but that's why now I tend to try to write episodes while I'm listening to it. That way I'm not going over it with a magnifying glass, but if anything with a bullhorn sitting there going, I suck, then I'm like, oh shit, I need to fix that.
But we have to watch it so we can know what to do better.
Well, that and because I want us to have a YouTube number. I want us to at least have one view count. Like, yes!
Well, yeah, that happens a lot. I get through watching an episode and I look at the view count and it shows one view. I'm like, oh, that's me.
Yeah,
I'm the one view. Well, the English language is one of the most difficult languages to learn. There are so many examples of words having several different meanings and spellings but sound exactly the same. So many words that look very familiar, except for the first letter being different and the whole word sounding different. For example, the word food, the word mood, and the word good. They're all spelled the same except for the first letter. But place that first letter and they all sound different. It's just dumb. It's really dumb. Yeah. Very difficult to make somebody who never understand this language or trying to learn it, try to tell them all the difference between what bear actually means or there or any of the other words that have so many different meanings.
I mean, it's because our shit's so complicated that the grammar Nazis have some fulfillment in their life, because then they're gonna be like, you said your whenever it should have been your, if you know, or the two and two,
or there and there,
or people say who or whom. That's whenever you know you found a real grammar Nazi. Whenever they're like, whenever who is the object of the sentence, it becomes whom.
Well, you actually knew when to use the word whom. I didn't.
I know a lot of things. Don't mean I do it.
Oh, yeah. Saying the word whom just makes you feel a little hoity-toity.
Yeah, I guess if I was saying that, I would want to have like some sort of fancy drink in my hand so I could have my pinky up.
Mm-hmm. Well, not to mention the letters PH sounding like F, the letter C sometimes sounding like an S, and so on. And don't even get me started on silent letters. If the letter is silent, then why the hell is it there? Who decided to put a K in front of a knife?
A guy that had a speech impediment that kept saying knife.
Or did the people who created the alphabet realize, you know what? We don't have enough K letters So let's give them a couple other ones here.
You know,
Y'all can have knife and knob.
I kind of get it in certain circumstances if it was consistent. So you have now, N-O-W, put a K in front and becomes no. And I'm like, all right, I can kind of get that. What I don't understand is when they put a P in front of a T, like pterodactyl.
Yeah. Why?
Or psychologists putting a P in front of that. Just throwing random P's just out onto fucking words. Like, I'm just going to change the spelling of my name to Darrell, but I'm going to be like, the P is silent.
Yeah. How would you ever know? You wouldn't know. Like,
No.
Is the word pterodactyl changed or taken, so they had to put a P in front of it to make sure it wasn't already taken?
I think a lot of those are ones that come from like Latin words, but just because you derive it from the Latin word does not mean you need to keep the spelling. They probably spell things like that for whatever reason that we don't have anymore.
Exactly right. Exactly
not,
right.
I don't want to change anything because now I know how to spell all this shit. But we're just commenting on how stupid it is.
Yes, and how hard it is to learn.
Yeah.
The English language is also, like we just mentioned, a melting pot of borrowed words from other cultures that we've turned into our own. They are all over the place. For example, did you know your back porch, or what many people here in Texas call a patio, is actually a Spanish word meaning yard or a hard flat area? We use Latin words, French words, German words. We use words that have been genericized. See previous episode. Hey, I love callbacks. I love it.
There was a time where I was trying to learn languages, which I'm not very good at. And the only one I ever learned was Spanish, and then I stopped using it after being really good at it and being able to use it on a daily basis and stuff. But then I stopped. I didn't have to use it on a daily basis anymore, and so I forgot. And then so later on, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to learn French. And one of the things that I was a little stunned by is that, like, the vast majority of a lot of English words come from French words, but our sentence structure is Germanic.
Once again, complicating issues.
Because French is a Romance language. It comes from Latin. And so they have that, their own structure with like their verb conjugations.
Very pretty language.
Consistent. Well, I mean, but Spanish, Portuguese, French, they all have very common sentence structures.
Yeah, very easily. They all usually follow the same kind of rule.
Yeah. Then you have Germanic, which is more like how ours is structured. It's article, noun, verb, so on and so forth in that order. The way we do it, it's just we're like, your words are scary. We'll take the pretty French words, but use your efficient structure. And then we're just going to fuck up how everything's spelled.
And mix it all together.
Yeah.
Hell, we even use words that aren't words. We have come to know what these words mean, but some of these you would never know were actually acronyms. Now, don't worry, this is an English class, but I'm going to tell you what an acronym is. An acronym is a shortened form of a word or phrase constructed by combining the first letter or syllable of each word in a phrase. The result is a new single word which is pronounced together phonetically as a word. Now, I'm going to give you the acronym, Darrell, and I know you may probably know all of these, or you may know a majority of these because you're a little smarty pants.
I am.
But some of our, take that back, 3 or 4 of our listeners may not know what this or some of these mean. It may be a surprise to them that actually some of these words were actually acronyms, which some of these, when they showed up on my research, I didn't know they were actual acronyms. I just thought they were words.
Okay.
So without further ado, someone play my theme music.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, there you go.
Thank you, Darrell. All right, we're going to start with a pretty easy one. We all know what NASA is and what they do for our nation. But does everybody know, or does anybody know what it actually means?
I do.
Yeah, okay, Darrell. Let's see what you know. Is it the National Aerospace and Shuttle Administration? Is it the National Aeronautics and Space Administration? Is it the National Aeronautics and Shuttle Administration, or the National Association of Space Awesomeness?
It's the National Aeronautics Space Administration. Jason's shuttles did not come around until the 70s. Before that, they always flew rockets on capsules, which we're actually going back to now, or have been. shuttles are kind of a thing of the past. So your attempt at trying to fool me with your answers sucked.
Oh, I'm 0 for
Pick
1.
up a book.
Well, thanks for that little fun fact. Let me give you another one. NASA has an Office of Planetary Protection. And this is actually a quote from their website. Planetary protection is the practice of protecting solar system bodies from contamination by Earth life and protecting Earth from possible life forms that may be returned from our solar system bodies or from other solar system bodies. Yeah,
So
space
NASA
customs.
has OPP?
Yeah, space customs.
NASA has OPP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know me.
Other people's property.
Well, you said Office of, what was it?
Planetary Protection.
Yeah, OPP.
OPP. Not as good as the poo reference we had in, what was it, Mount Shasta episode?
That was a long time ago.
It was
drink since
people of the Office of, I don't know. Check it out, people. It's funny. Anyway, I thought this would be a good chance to reiterate the requirements to become an astronaut. To become an astronaut, you generally need to be a U.S. citizen, possess a master's degree in a STEM field, have at least 2 years of related work experience, or 1,000 hours of pilot in command time on a jet aircraft. Pass a NASA physical exam. Additional requirements may include advanced degrees, language proficiency, and completion of a basic training program. So, Katy Perry, Gayle King, you were just passengers on a very lovely 11-minute ride. So please do not put yourself in the same category as real astronauts.
Have they been calling themselves astronauts? I haven't paid much attention to it. Did they refer to themselves as?
Katy Perry may not. I'm just referring to her because she's probably the most famous person who was on this ride. But Gayle King absolutely did, and she said something about astronauts. She's like, I'm having a hard time of calling myself one of these astronauts. Of course, you're having a hard time calling yourself because you're not one.
You're a goddamn passenger. It's like I fly in planes all the time, but I don't fly planes.
You're not a pilot.
I am a passenger.
Yeah, she weren't controlling anything. They were just getting shot up, and then they float around, and they come back down. You're a passenger.
Yeah. I mean, I'm jealous. I would love to, do that.
Yeah, it would have been great.
But yeah, as long as, I mean, if they're calling themselves astronauts, that's a problem. But like I said, I don't know if Katy Perry did that. The only thing I heard is that she's been like acting like she had this amazing experience, it's just life changing, and all this, and everybody's just like, "Bitch, shut the fuck up! You flew on something because you're fucking rich and you got big tits."
Yes,
Jeff Bezos loves big tits.
Yeah. Well, he is a guy. All right, the next one. This is the next one I did not know was actually an acronym. SCUBA. We all know what SCUBA is when you use it to do your underwater stuff, but do we know what it stands for? Is it self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, self-care underwater breathing assistance, self-contained underwater breathing assistance, or secretly craving underwater booty access?
I'll give you some credit for at least trying to mix that one up a little bit and make it a little harder. But self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Yes, Darrell, you are 2 for 2. 2 for 2.
I watch a lot of YouTube, and a lot of those YouTube's channels that I'd watch. Well, I get in these phases. I like right now I'm in this crazy phase where I keep watching this guy play horror games. I don't know why. I just enjoy it. But there for a while I was on this kick where everything was about scuba accidents and cave diving accidents and caving incidents. It was all these horrible things because I am terrified. I never realized I was claustrophobic. And I'm not like to the point where, I can handle elevators and crap like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember watching this documentary one time about these guys that would blow up old oil derricks, turn them into coral, artificial reefs.
Okay. Good idea.
And they have to get in these pipes where they are crunched up like this with a bomb. And they're scooching in this pipe for hundreds of yards underwater in the dark in a pipe with a bomb. And just the thought of that made my butthole pucker so tight. And I started my heart started beating. I felt adrenaline rushing, and I was like, holy shit, I'm afraid of that. And so, yeah, anytime I come across anything where somebody's like stuck in something or they're like really crammed in,
Oh yeah,
uh, yeah, which is
yeah.
so funny because me and my cousin used to bury each other for fun.
But you knew you were about to get out, and you weren't going to be trapped. The moment you probably were buried, and
I
you
don't know.
maybe
You
didn't
know
feel
my
like you were coming
cousin.
out. Which one,
Marcus.
Marcus?
I mean, there was always like one part of me that's like he could just walk away, and it wouldn't be out of like malice or nothing. He would get bored and be all like, "Oh
I'm gonna
shit,
go do
I
something
want
else.
some I want some Gatorade." Yeah,
Well, you're right though about the claustrophobia when you watch somebody doing the cave stuff or the underwater cave stuff. Even worse when they're going through
no,
little bitty cracks where there's no room when their chest and stomach and everything's up against it.
they'll take off their tanks and they have to push it ahead while they scooch across the ground, and then if they move too much, they'll kick up all the silt and then they can't
Yep.
see.
Yeah.
They're effectively blind. There's no light that'll penetrate that. They are just they can't see.
Yeah.
They have
Moving it
zero.
like this ain't gonna do it any better. It's gonna make it
And if
worse.
they panic, whenever that happens, when they panic, they start to breathe hard and they'll run out of air faster.
And they get bigger.
And it's just like, holy shit! Just no,
Too
no,
many
no,
things
no.
can go wrong. Too many
I've ju-
things.
I've jumped out of a plane. I've been bungee jumping. I would love to fly in a rocket ship. You try to put a tank on my back and say, "Hey, Darrell, go through this tiny little hole."
Uh-uh.
Fuck you. Fuck you. No. I mean, scuba. Yeah, I'll give it a go, but I'm
And
not
open
going anywhere.
waters. Yeah, like in a coral reef or something
Yeah,
where you could easily come up out of the water and not be
right.
worried. Yeah.
No, none of that whole deep stuff where you have to come up and like decompress or anything like
Mm-mm.
that.
No.
No, I mean, if they were like, here, technically you could probably snorkel, but we're just going to throw this scuba tank on you anyways. I'd be like, look at me, I'm a frog man. But the second somebody's like, ooh, go in that hole, I'd be like, ooh, go fuck yourself.
Uh-huh. A fun fact about scuba diving: the world's longest and uninterrupted scuba dive was achieved by Egyptian Saddam Kalani, who stayed underwater for an astonishing 145 hours, 25 minutes, and 25 seconds.
God, I can't imagine how much of that was him having to decompress on his way up.
Yeah, or how do you eat? That's a long time to go without eating. I mean, obviously you didn't eat underwater, but
That's a very good question. Why are you bringing that very good question here without an answer?
I don't know. I don't know.
God damn it, Jason.
It just made me say, "Wait, what?" And
What
I
was
just
his
now thought of it.
name?
Saddam, Saddam, Kalani,
Uh-huh.
Killany.
How did he eat underwater? He was given the specialized. He did not eat while submerged. He was given a specialized diet consisting of fruits, vegetables, and honey, and dehydrated solution every half hour while diving.
Like an IV?
No, well, no. Was he really underwater for 145 hours? Yeah, it says it was. Longest open water, November 2020. He didn't even iron any clothes down there. He had an exercise bike down there.
That's another good callback.
His job, blah, blah, blah. Contact friends, took over 3 years. Medical team, blah, blah, blah. How did he? All right. How was. Okay. All right. So what they did is they would blend the fruits and vegetables and
Huh.
honey, and he would take off his breathing part, and then he would just put the like the water bottle with the food in his mouth,
Yeah.
and he would squeeze that in there, and then
What?
every half hour he was given a dehydration solution and chocolate. But that's how he did it because he had other people. He was not in deep water. He looks like he's in like 10 foot deep water.
Huh.
He had like a little living room set up down there.
Just chilling,
Yeah, I
watching that
mean
latest episode of Waywut.
there was an exercise bike. Just he had things down there to keep him busy and
Well,
play
yeah, you can
with.
be down there for a week or however long that works out to in days.
And I'm guessing there's this one apparatus. It looks like that's what he probably strapped himself to sleep because imagine he'd probably float otherwise.
Huh.
See, you got me sidetracked. See, next time
What an
you have a
interesting
question
topic.
like that, next time you have a question like that, just answer it.
What a fun fact about scuba diving.
How many people did we lose because Darrell had to Google something?
I don't know. They may have looked it up. They may have just got a bump on their page, whatever page you were
Uh,
looking at there. All right. The next one, SPF. We know all use it for picking out our sunblock, but do we know what it stands for? Is it solar protection factor, sunburn prevention fluid, sun protection factor, or SOPEL? Fuck.
oh, this one's actually a tough one. Because the two that it's most likely, I'm trying to think, was somebody so pretentious that they had to say solar protection factor, or if they're just a chill dude, it's just like sun protection, dude. I'll go with sun protection factor.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yay!
It was just a chill dude. Just a chill. He didn't overthink it. And they just put it out there. But a fun fact about SPF: the actual difference between an SPF 50 and SPF 30 is 1 percentage point. So SPF 30 blocks about 97% of UV rays, and SPF 50 blocks 98% of UV rays. And
I'm a 50 user.
I am too. What the 50 means and what the 30 is the percentage of how much longer you can stay out without using sunblock. So you can stay out 30% longer with using this if you weren't wearing sunblock,
Are
or
they
50.
factoring the fact that this is why I hate sunblock? I really do. The whole reapply thing.
It's
Why can't I
misleading.
just yes? I mean, how long? Don't say it lasts so much percentage longer. Tell me how long that shit's gonna last. I will set a fucking alarm on my phone. Now the only way I know that my sunblock wore off is all of a sudden my shoulder will start stinging, and I'm like,
Uh,
shit, I need to reapply. And I hate figuring it out that way. I'm sensitive.
yeah, no, I usually don't reapply either, and I'm the same way. I'll get home later and realize, oh shit, I should have put on more sunblock.
I mean, I get it. You have to let it dry, which most people don't do. Uh, and that, but sweat takes it off.
Hmm.
Water takes it off.
Most of the time, yeah.
Just yeah, just fucking just put a time limit. Say, hey, reapply every 45 minutes. And of course, I'll look at that and I'll be like, fuck you. I'm not getting out of the pool every 45 fucking minutes, drying off, spraying that shit down, letting it dry, and then jump back in the fucking pool. Eat my ass. Make a better one.
Yeah, you think that it's made for people swimming most of the time when you're outside. I mean, yes, you do other things outside, but for the most part, when you have your shirt off, you're swimming. You're going to want something that stays on in water.
Yeah. I think that almost makes sense.
And you want something that don't burn your eyes when you do sweat, because there are a lot of things that burn when you get in your eyes, but not many things compared to getting sunblock in the eyes. You're trying to
I don't
mow the
know.
yard and you're crying. You got some tears running down your face. You can't see.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, that's why they have those neat little glue sticks, which were great whenever my
Mm.
kids were little. You take that little glue stick thing, just all over their face. Of course, I'm terrible at stuff like that, so they probably have like little zebra stripe burns on their face.
Oh,
But
that reminds me. I went to one of Ian's baseball games and it was really sunny, and I just got a fresh haircut. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to wear a hat today. I'm going to show off my 6 hairs I have on
I
top of my
think I
head.
remember this.
And it was during Laughlin. We were in Laughlin,
Yeah.
and I took my hat, and when I got there, I put sunblock all over my face. You can't really put sunblock on your scalp unless you're going to run it through your hair. And my scalp was so sunburned. It looked ridiculous. It looked like I had a chemical reaction to shampoo. It was so bad. And the peeling was worse. Don't even get the peeling was real bad. It was terrible. Just terrible.
I mean, I'm glad that the kids are older now. Like my son, he's now a teenager, uh, and anytime we go, since he is ghost white. This kid is white, and I will spray him down because I don't want him to burn. And instead of doing the whole like, hey, let's just be delicate, I'm like, close your eyes, and I'll just cover his face in that spray.
Yeah.
It's like it burns. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Trust me. It'll hurt a lot worse later if you don't put this on.
Yeah, it's way better than hearing him being like, "It burns, Dad. What am I supposed to do?"
Yeah, having a bad sunburn is not pleasant. Not many
No.
things you can do that doesn't hurt.
Mm-mm.
All right, the next one, CAPTCHA. We've all used it. We all get frustrated with it, but do we know what it means, what it stands for? Is it confusing, excuse me, computer animated program that collects human algorithms, completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart, computer analytic program to tell computers and humans apart, or confusing animated pictures that challenge human anger?
Most confusing thing right now is how long that fucking acronym is.
Right? It's easier just to call it CAPTCHA.
Uh the one that only had one T word in it.
Uh,
Didn't one of them you say two T words? I remember hearing
yeah, the
Turing in both of
automated
them.
public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart, or
Yeah, no, that one's too long. The other one that said Turing.
yes, it's the completely automated public Turing test to tell computers. That's the what it is. That's the right answer.
Wait,
The
the
super
long
long
one's the
one.
right answer? I
Yeah.
got it wrong. Son of a bitch! All right, your shit's too long if I can't
I didn't come
memorize
up
it.
with that word.
Not you. I'm talking to the CAPTCHA people
Oh yeah,
because obviously
absolutely.
they're listening.
Of course they are.
Duh.
We all know that the original purpose was to filter out spam bots pretending to be humans by displaying distorted text that only humans can read. Sort of.
I I hate those. I really hate those because I mean the ones with the letters and numbers are kind of annoying because sometimes it's not right. It's like I can't tell what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the ones that really piss me off, the ones that really piss me off, is whenever it's like point out the stoplights and
Mm-hmm.
it's in the picture. You know, it's divided up in those squares, and you have the tiniest fragment of a corner of that stoplight in one of
Yep,
those pictures, and it's like, does that count?
it always
I
does.
don't I don't
Seems
know
like
if
it
this
always
counts.
does. As soon as I don't put that little corner or that little piece of the bicycle that I think is off the other screen, it'll flip it and say, try again. Give me, stop walk or stop signs or crosswalks or something.
So I think, and I may be wrong on this. God knows there's a chance. So whenever I used to work, whenever I had like some teams that worked out in the Philippines, and I would fly out and go visit them, and we had these vendors out there that work. You know, our staff worked for the vendors, and we paid the vendors. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so while I was there at the vendor's place, they had for the people that didn't really have speak very good English, if any English at all, they had what they called their non-voice team, and they did tasks that didn't require them to talk on the phone. And what they did all day is they would have images on their screen, and they would be clicking it on trying to point out obstructions. Uh, because what they were doing is they were teaching self-driving cars what were things in the way. It
Mm-hmm.
was really weird. Instead of someone having to go in and like feed an image over and over, they can have thousands upon thousands of images be reviewed by these people weekly, where they're clicking on things, and all that data was then uploaded into the car stuff, so
Cars
they
can
could teach the
recognize a
car.
tree and another car or whatever.
Yeah,
Pretty smart.
I suspect that CAPTCHA is getting that data for stuff for free by
That makes
using that.
sense.
They're sitting there having people
Do
point
it
out
for them.
traffic lights and stuff, and they're just like, okay, here you go, electric car or automated car manufacturers or whatever. Here's some data.
That actually makes a lot of sense because if you think about it, the main genre of what the pictures you're choosing from are stuff you would see on the road. Like you said, stoplights, stop signs, crosswalks, cars, bicycles, bridges, uh, people who all the stuff you would see. But yeah, yeah.
I think it's something really good to keep in mind because just know that someday, if you start getting captions that are like, point out the white male, point out the black guy who's who's wearing the wrong color hat. It's be like somebody's training a murder robot.
Uh-huh.
Don't teach the robots murder.
No. Yeah, y'all seen we all seen that movie before.
Which one?
Well, there's in there a bunch of movies about robots that turn on people
tons.
and kill them. Oh, there we go.
I just
that
thought
one.
I've that one, huh?
That
Just
one.
That one. I was gonna say, come on, movie buff.
No, you're way more than I am.
It's like, please, let's talk movies.
No. No. All right, AT&T. We all pay our monthly bill unless you have the self-service to AT&T. But do we actually know who we're paying it to and what it stands for? Is it American Telephone and Telegraph? Is it American Telegraph and Telephone? Is it Americans Talk and Talk? Or is it Ass Therapy and Tacos?
They offer no kind of therapy. I've been having my own fights with them recently. Now, AT&T is an old ass company, and part of me wonders is if at one point in their existence they were just AT, which would be they would have been American Telegraph, and then eventually American Telegraph and Telephone.
I think it could go either way, but the answer I have is showing telephone before telegraph.
That's stupid. That's wrong. I agree,
because telegraph did come before telephone.
Why?
So why would you would add that after?
Telephone. Go on, I'm listening.
But a fun fact about AT&T. Milana Vanitrub, the actress that portrays Lily Adams in all those lovely, lovely AT&T commercials, makes close to $3 million a year just by doing these commercials. It's amazing how people have made a career by having one character on a commercial, and that's all they do.
There's a lot of starving actors out there that are completely jealous of that fact that somebody could just get a consistent commercial. You got the Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're on our third Jake from State Farm at this point. Sorry. American District Telegraph Company was what it was originally called. Over time, whenever they started focusing more on telephone communication, that's whenever they became American Telephone and Telegraph. So since telephones were the wave of the future, they wanted to be more known for that. They kept the telegraph part as more of a just historical.
Oh yeah, we still have that
reference.
So very interesting.
That's why telephones before telegraph. I guess it makes some sense.
I don't know. They should change their business model though and do the Ash Therapy and Tacos. I think that's going to hit a bigger demographic there.
What they need to do is stop it. If you're going to use AI telephone operators or chat stuff, you have to make it smarter. Jesus Christ, you have to make it smarter. I have to cuss out some poor innocent robot just to get a person on the phone after the robot keeps telling me the same fucking thing over and over again, which wasn't the solution, and it wasn't the solution the first 3 times, but you keep saying the same fucking thing, and that's why I don't want to talk to you no more, because you're just a machine that doesn't know anything.
And in case y'all didn't know, Darrell had a run-in with AT&T today.
Shush. I do not want to piss off a giant conglomeration of corporate evilness.
Let me guess, did the computer animated program or the AI tell you to restart your modem a million times?
It did. Yeah, it did, which was fine. I get that. I've worked tech support stuff. I understand. What made me mad is I was having connection stability issues with my internet. So it on, off. And it was never like out for a while and then back on. It would just snap off. And so I was using their chat thing, talking to the robot. And while I was doing that, I lost my signal. And whenever I lost my signal, just for that second, popped back on, it acted like it was a brand new conversation. And that was the point where it started trying to start the whole thing over again, that I lost my shit at that point. And I used a lot of F words and demanded the real person on the phone, in the chat, and I got one. Either got a real person or a better AI. I'm not sure. It was one or the other.
They upgraded you to a better one.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, since you were in a little snafu this morning or this afternoon, but do you know what it actually stands for?
I do.
Does it mean situation situation neglected, all fucked up? Situation normal, all fucked up? Shit, not another fuck up, or stuck naked and freezing unexpectedly?
Situation normal, all fucked up.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. The term originated in the U.S. military during World War II, similar to FUBAR, which was made famous in Saving Private Ryan.
Is that one of your ones, or can I actually say what FUBAR means?
You can say what FUBAR means. Yeah.
Fucked up beyond all recovery.
Yep.
So I know all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite thing about snafu, I mean, because for the longest I didn't know what it meant when I was younger or whatever. But through the years, and especially now once YouTube was around and stuff, I love watching some of the old propaganda cartoons from the World War II. They're great, especially the Looney Tunes ones. And they did
Yes.
some that they did not put out for public consumption. They put out for military specifically. And it's called Private Snafu.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about this bumbling soldier that always keeps screwing up. Like they're saying, don't tell secrets to something. But you see like this sexy German lady. She's like, oh, hello. And he's like, "Dar, dar." And they're like, don't be a sucker. And all sorts of, I think they even talk about venereal disease and some of it. Oh, just like, oh, this is the best shit ever.
Yeah, I like those old cartoons like that.
They're funny as hell.
Mm-hmm. The next one, SWAT. We all know what it means, or we all know what they're used for, but do we know what those actual letters mean? Is it specialized warfare and tactics? Is it special weapons and tactics? Specialized weapons and technique? Or Sam's wieners and tassels?
I remember when I was a kid, I thought it was called SWAT because it's like, treating the bad guys like bugs.
Ah,
It's like, we want to squish them. Call it SWAT.
swat them down.
But it is special weapons and tactics.
Yes, very true. And here's a fact about SWAT. It's not a fun fact, just a fact. Their origin is often traced back to the University of Texas tower incident in 1966, when a sniper killed 17 people. This event highlighted the need for specialized units to handle such high-risk situations, leading to the creation of SWAT teams.
I did not know that, which
Huh?
is cool.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Charles Whitman thing, that in itself is fascinating. It's suspected that he had a brain tumor that triggered these violent impulses. Even in the letter that he left behind, knowing that he was going to get killed doing what he was doing, he wanted them to. No, he shot himself. If I remember right. Can't remember. One or the other. He wanted them to study his brain, find out what was going wrong, and they did find a tumor, from what I understand. And it's suspected that the tumor was activating these violent impulses in him, because before that he didn't really have any issues.
Wow. It's amazing what something could happen in your brain, press on one little area on it, and completely mess your thinking up. Make you do things you never thought you wanted to do before.
That's why a lot of times with dementia patients, Alzheimer's, stuff like that, you see personality changes where they get violent and they get scared and confused and stuff. But strokes can cause personality changes. Head trauma can cause personality changes. It sucks. It's just all it takes is a bad softball game, and you're a whole different person.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, he's such a nice guy, and then you come out and you're just like, hey, fuck nuts, get over here and suck my. Oh my god, he was. What did he say to your grandma?
Yeah. Yeah. I got several more here, but I'm just going to pick another one and make this another part 2 because it's really fun. I like doing these. So let me see. What's a funny one? All right, we'll do this one. This one's been in the news quite often. NATO. We know the principle around it, but do we know what NATO stands for? Is
Yes.
it I hope you do, history major. Is it the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the North America Trade Organization, the North Atlantic Trade Organization, or not another tequila orgy?
North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Yes. The core of NATO is the idea that an attack on one member nation is an attack on all. This principle, written in Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty, has been invoked only once, following the 9/11 attacks here in the United States in 2001.
And they weren't exactly eager to be a part of that. Which is funny because, I mean, like, I'm not going to get into any of that bullshit, but I do. It's just, come on. The one time we get attacked, the one goddamn time.
We need everybody.
Hey, they're like, I don't. We
what day
live
is that
closer
again?
to them. They're like, we live closer to them than you do. We will support you in spirit. And how many troops does that mean we have to give them? We'll give you. What's the minimum? Okay, we'll give you that many. Just the
What day
bottom
is that
number.
again? Yeah, we might be busy that day. I don't know if we could be there.
We're waiting for AT&T. You know how it is. They take forever to get ignition out. Assholes.
Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Well, that was a fun look at acronyms we see in everyday life. Now, the next time you see one, you can impress your coworker, your spouse, or your pet, as they are usually easy to please. Now, did any of this surprise you, or what they meant, or holy crap, or that they were actually an acronym? Let us know if you understand anything I just said.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you smell toast? Burning toast?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm not having a heart attack or anything. Well, that would do it. I'm sure.
I don't want to deal with the personality change. If you fuck your brain up and you turn into an asshole, the podcast is over.
Oh, yeah.
There's only enough room for one asshole in this.
Oh,
in this
you
podcast.
stole the joke. You stole the joke. Well, that would do it on this dive into acronyms. So join us next week as Darrell gets back my thesaurus and regales us with another topic that made him say, "Waywut." We'll see y'all
Good job,
then.
Jason. I mean, you didn't exactly stick the beginning, but you after liftoff, you did a great job.
Good job, it was wobbly.
Well, then again, you did fuck up the landing a little bit. You did stumble there at the end. I mean, I'll go through my notes with you and tell you all the things that I thought you did wrong once we get off here. All right? Bye, everybody.
Later.
Thank you for joining us for Waywut. If you would, tell your friends or your enemies that they can watch us on YouTube or Rumble. And if you don't want to see our face, or if they don't want to see our faces, you can listen to us on your preferred audio platform. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora, you name it, we're probably on there. Please like, review, and comment on whatever platform you joined us on today. We'd appreciate that a ton. Again, just thank you for listening and watching. We hope you'll join us next time. We'll make you say, "Wait, what?"